What is going on, y'all? On Warren Cars, back again with another car buyer's guide. Today we have one of my favorite cars, honestly, one of my favorite SUVs. They get a lot of flack because of the way they drive. However, they are a testament to basically amazing engineering. This car was designed basically in the 1970s, and it was pretty much the same design until like 2019, 2020, when they updated the body style, as well as, I mean, not updated, it is an update technically, but it is a whole new car in terms of the way it drives, in terms of body panels. Like, it doesn't share parts like these past vehicles have. Up until the new body style, you were able to interchange a lot of parts between the new G-Wagons and the old G-Wagons, but with the new model, you can't. It's not as interchangeable. So this is the G55. So what is a G55? A lot of people are familiar with the G63, which is the twin turbo V8 model. There's a couple different engines that came in the G63, but just know that it was twin turbo, and that was what the G63 was known for. The G55, however, came with it came with a bunch of different engine configurations, but specifically it came with two types of engines. For the 2002 okay, so I said 2003, but you know, in the rest of the world, they come out a year earlier. So 2002 technically to 2005, those three model years, 2003, 4, 5, 2002, 3, and 4, those three model years, they were naturally aspirated 5.5 liter V8s. But then after 2005 to 2011 to 12 is when they added the supercharger. So I believe that's what sets this car apart from pretty much every other Mercedes. I believe the M113K, the supercharged 5.5 liter V8 found in AMG cars at the time, is a super reliable, super stout, super powerful engine that a lot of people, you know, they want. That's why a lot of people try to get the E55s. The E55s are really popular for that engine. Also the CL55, the S55, and the G55. CLK55 as well, and then the SL55. I believe they also made the SLK55, but I don't believe that one was supercharged. But yeah, supercharged AMG engines, highly desirable, tons of tuning potential. All you got to do is change out the pulley, and these cars made a ton of power when compared to their naturally aspirated predecessors. Yeah, let's get into the features, options, and problems. I love this car. The only downside to this car, which you'll see in a minute, is the interior. The interior of the G-Wagon stayed pretty old up until the new body style. For example, not the new, but the last generation S-Class had the double screens in 2014. This car didn't get double screens until almost 7 years later. Even at the ones we're looking at now, we're looking up to 2011, 2012. Those interiors are going to look like mid-2000s interiors. The G-Wagon really lags behind in everything. And that shows because it is a 1970s car, so of course they're going to lag behind. A lot of things changed over the model years with this car, but for the model years we're looking at, there were a few significant changes, most of them being power increases. The most powerful models will be available after 2009, I believe. We'll take a look at that right now. So let me open Paint, and then before I get into that, some announcements real quick. Don't forget to join my Discord. Actually, let me add that file right now so you guys can actually see it. So I'm going to share the document so you guys can follow along. The link's in the description to join the Discord. All you gotta do is click that link. All right, cool, copy that link. There we go, and that is the notes for today. Follow along. If you can't, or if you haven't joined the Discord, then you can follow along. Cool. All right, actually, let me get the photo in here real quick. Copy image. We'll make this 30%. I think 30% is good. Wow, that's way too small. 60% then. Not enough. All right, 40%, 45%. Split it right in the middle. Perfect. Okay, cool. Let's get on to the features. So today I mentioned that the early models of the G55 were actually naturally aspirated. We're not going to be looking at those. We're only going to be looking at the compressor models, which are going to be 2005 to 2011 to 2012. This is the W463 chassis. And as I mentioned, the previous model years 2003 or 2, 3, and 4 weren't supercharged. It was replaced with the 5.5 liter was it a 278 M278 engine, I believe, that was in the E55, I believe the E55, the E63, and I believe the S63 got it as well. It's a 5.5 liter, one of my favorite AMG engines, simply because of the tuning potential. But this one is also up there simply because it is way more reliable and can handle more of a beating. This car came with a 5-speed transmission, all model years. And these were the power figures. So the first iteration, 2005, 469 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. The pound-feet of torque stayed the same for the entire range. And then it was upgraded to 493, and then finally 500. What else? Yeah, I mean, this car was known for having electronic diff locks, front, rear, and center. Had transfer case, obviously, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. Another thing about this car is that it's actually a lot smaller than people realize. The car is super narrow. I believe it has the same footprint as like a Ford Focus, and it is actually narrower than it too. There's not much room on the inside. It's not the most practical vehicle as it was designed 50 years ago. But yeah, it's on paper, it shouldn't be worth the price that it is, but because of just the road presence, because of the name G-Wagon and the history, the legacy, these cars will retain a high price and will always till the end of time. And that is not based on the car itself, that is based on its legacy and the people who own them typically. So let's get on to the options. I'll say this right now, there are very few options for this car. Most things were standard. After all, it is an AMG. Actually, let me redo this. Let me not include those links. Cool. Are you serious, man? All right, here we go. All right, cool. So 2005, first model year, we're looking at 5.5 liter supercharged V8, 469 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. As I mentioned before, in 2006, there was no real changes. So 2005, 2006 are kind of similar vehicles. 2007 is when they bumped it up to 493 horsepower and upgraded the xenon headlights, fog lights with cornering, and basically upgraded the wheels and made the seat design a little bit different. 2008 was the last year of the factory tow hitch and introduced a new dash/cluster. Also, the upgraded command system was introduced with the reverse camera. And in 2009, the power was bumped to 500 horsepower. Upgraded command system shared with the S-Class at the time. It had new wheel design, new front grille design. Alcantara headliner is standard. Ventilated seats and rear skid plate were upgraded, and then the towing package was discontinued. So 2008 was the last year with the factory tow hitch, which was the towing package. 2009 is when they bumped up the power. 2010, they updated the ventilated seats to the S-Class style. More leather on the interior / dash, so they added more leather just to make it a little bit more classy. And then in 2011, chrome brush guards for the fog lights were introduced and upgraded rear headrests. So small aesthetic changes. Nothing really changed between 2010 and 2011 mechanically. So you have three groups. You have the 2005 to 2007 cars. You have the 2008 to 2009. You have the 2008 car. Sorry. You have the 2005 to 2006 cars. You have the 2007 to 2008 cars. So 5, 6 is one, 7, 8 is one, and then 9, 11 is the last classification of the G55 we're going to be looking at. In my opinion, I think in order to get the best deal in terms of money, as well as getting the best car, I recommend getting a 2008. So you're getting 593 horsepower, not the full power bump, but you at least can have the option of a factory tow hitch, which will make it more practical And you also get the new dash and cluster with the nav system upgraded. So 2008 would be specifically what year I'd look for. If you want something a little bit cheaper, you get the 2005 to 2007. If you want something a little bit more up to date, you can get 2009 plus. 2008 is the sweet spot in my opinion. And as I mentioned before, there are no packages for these besides the color you get for the interior exterior. Wheels is not really an option, they just changed over the years. And then the Dezino packages, which there are 2 of them. The cars come standard with Dezino leather, however the Dezino package adds I think some contrast stitching and some other stuff as well. The Dezino package cars are highly desirable. I recommend looking for one of those if you can find it, but just know that they all come technically with Dezino leather. So let's look at some brochures. I got a 2005, so first model year we're looking at, and then a 2011, last model year. So this is the 2005 brochure right here. As you can see, 2005, 469 horsepower. Let's look at some of the options. As you can also see, all these things are standard. Almost every single option is standard except for chrome finish grille bars. That is a not available option. What else? Yep, so standard, as you can see, Dezino Nappa leather upholstery. So Dezino leather is standard, but the Dezino trim is different than the Dezino leather. What else do we have? Yeah, so we get the Dezino maple trim and not the burl walnut. That comes in the standard G550. And then here we have the individually available options for the 2005, the first model year. A lot of these became standard options over the years, so just keep in mind this is for 2005 only. So we have power tilt and sliding steel sunroof. So basically you have a sunroof option. You have the command, the nav system, which was an option, satellite radio, hands-free communication, and then metallic paint. So these are the options, not really options. They're just, most of them are infotainment. So you have a sunroof option, infotainment stuff, and then paint, which is a no charge option. And here are the Dezino packages I was talking about. Let's just zoom in so we can read it a little bit better. So we have the silver edition. So they're all gonna be silver with a charcoal interior. So dark gray, almost black Nappa or Dezino Nappa interior. And then you're gonna have the maple wood trim. And then charcoal Dezino floor mats. So you're gonna look out for these floor mats that say Dezino on them. That's how you can tell easily that's a Dezino package car. And then we have the espresso edition, so Dezino Mocha Black. So it's going to be like a black almost. I believe it says mocha, but I believe it's just black. Charcoal interior Dezino, light brown. Hold on, charcoal interior with light brown. Oh, okay, so this is a two-tone. So the espresso edition is a two-tone interior, charcoal Dezino floor mats with light brown leather trim. Cool. These are 2 things you want to look, or 2 packages you want to look for. They're going to be rare, but if you can find them, that'll always be good. Now let's look at an ad for the last model year. This one is a little bit different. It doesn't say any packages or anything, obviously because everything is standard by this year. But it shows the picture or the colors that the car actually comes in. So you can see we have, these are the metallic colors. We got obsidian black, flint gray, palladium silver, iridium silver, verde brook, Dezino Mocha Black. You can see it's kind of like a brownish gray, very slightly. And then Dezino Graphite. We have non-metallic paint. We have black and Arctic White. And then we have matte paint, Dezino Magno and Dezino Magno Night Black and Dezino Magno Platinum. These are the leathers. The G55 comes with Dezino specifically. And then it also has the Dezino Maple Wood, as I mentioned earlier. So it's going to be hard to find cars that really aren't desirable if they're, I mean, in the sense that they're all pretty much equipped the same. You're just going based on color and condition for the most part. Let's see, did I have anything else? Nope, let's get to the problems. These cars are very reliable. Most of the problems that you'll find are going to be G-Wagon specific problems. They're not going to be related to the engine itself. However, I'll just go over some of the stuff here, standard stuff. So we have engine mounts. Those are seen to go bad pretty frequently on these cars. So you want to make sure the engine mounts are good. Check to see how much the engine moves in the engine bay. Transmission mount, same deal. Basically, this car just has a lot of power going through it, and you want to make sure that the mounts are good. Wheel hub seals, you want to make sure they're not leaking. They use a special type of I forget what it's called, but it's like a ball. It's like a big ball joint for the turning aspect of the front wheels. Let me see if I can find it, because I don't feel like trying to explain this to you. It's not called a ball joint. What is it called, man? Here it is. Steering knuckle. You can kind of see it. These aren't really said to go bad, but it's just something to show you how the technology for this car is a little bit older than what we're really used to. You can kind of see the ball. This spins on the ball. It's not the best system. That's what adds to the really terrible handling of this car, but something I just wanted to show you. The suspension is going to be one of the biggest components of this car in terms of issues. You want to make sure that everything rides as good as it possibly can. Secondary air control valve, something that people have had to replace. It will just throw a code. Maybe your car won't run right. Little things. As I mentioned before, sunroof and window seals. You don't want any leaks. Yeah, you don't want any leaks. And door lock actuators. If you're familiar with the G-Wagon, it has some of the strongest door locks you'll ever hear. They are loud, and I guess that just means that the door locks are putting in work, and therefore the door lock actuators will probably go out at some point. So you want to make sure that the door lock actuators work. Other than that, you just want to make sure that the suspension is good, as I mentioned. You want to make sure that the interior condition is all right. No leaks, obviously. Check everything. Head gaskets, valve cover gasket, rear main seal. You want to make sure the transfer case isn't leaking either. Also, you want to make sure that the diffs lock when you hit the buttons. They are electronic, so make sure that all the buttons work, as well as the 4-wheel, 2-wheel drive switcher. What else? Yeah, other than that, you know, little bits of plastic trim here and there might give you some issues simply because of the age of the car. But other than that, it's pretty reliable. It's a pretty stout car. It's definitely built very well. So let's get on to the ads. We got a bunch of them here for you. The thing is, a lot of these ads, a lot of the G-Wagons are 63s, and they're kind of hard to find in terms of the 55s. So there was only about 18 for sale in the country on Auto Trader. Sorry, I had to reload these pages because for some reason they weren't loaded up. As you can see, this is doing its thing right now. Google Chrome takes up so much RAM, it's insane. Okay, cool. Here we have our first example, 29 grand for this 04. I just want to throw this in here. It's not a supercharged example, so you can already tell the prices are going to be pretty high for these cars. 2004, they're already asking for 29 grand. This car is not a supercharged car. They came in 2005, as I mentioned. Another thing you want to see on these cars are what modifications the cars have. A lot of them have been upgraded to look like later model year cars. A lot of them, as you can see here, have upgraded infotainment systems. In my opinion, you want to find the most stock car possible unless you plan on doing specific mods. And if those specific mods are done, that's the only reason why I would go for that car. So if you're interested in a car that has mods, only buy the car if they're the mods you want. If not, you're going to probably be wasting your money. But for this one, I wouldn't pay more than 23 for it. It looks like, I mean, it has aftermarket wheels, aftermarket lights. Yeah, you can tell just by looking at the hubs are super rusty. So these brake rotors are going to be pretty old. Not the hubs, but the top of the rotors. It just doesn't look that clean. It looks like, I mean, the interior doesn't have any tears or anything. So the interior looks all right for its age, and it only has 76,000 miles, which isn't a lot, but it is a naturally aspirated car. It's not a supercharged, so 23 is where I'm at for this car. So let's move on to some actually supercharged examples. Here we have a 2008. So this is going to be the exact model year that I said you should look for. Doesn't say, it says that it's a clean title. What does this mean? I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. Limpio does not sound like a good word. Does limpio mean clean? Clear. Okay. Sorry to my Spanish speaking friends out there. I need to learn your language. So here we have a white example. You can see we have guards on the lights. We have the wheel cover, the tow hitch. White car with the gray interior. Not my favorite interior. We can see he added a subwoofer. Also changed out the center console. It is a gray interior car, but it is white, so a lot of people like the white G-Wagons. They're a little bit different, and they look really nice. They look clean and classy. But this one, I don't know if I can say that about it. First of all, it says G550. I'm not sure what's going on here. It says it's a G-Wagon 2007. I don't know if I believe it's an actual G550 or G55. I think they messed it up, and I think that's why the price is a little bit cheap. So I don't trust it. It doesn't say compressor on the side or anything like that. It said G550. I believe this is a G550. And sorry for putting that in here. As I mentioned, there aren't that many for sale, so we're going to keep it moving. Here we have a real G55, 2007, 124,000 miles. So mileage is a little bit higher, but for these, it's not bad at all. As you can tell, black leather. Not too many pictures, but for the condition, everything looks pretty stock, which is nice. Definitely want to get the most stock car you can find. This one has some weird grills on the lights, front and rear. Silver color. 124,000 miles. They want 32 grand for this one. For 124,000 miles, and it being a 2007, it's not a 2008. So it's still really in the first group of cars. I wouldn't really pay more than 28 for this car, about 4 grand less. It is a 2007, so it's not like a 2005, so 28 I think I'll be comfortable paying for something like this. Cool. Here we have a 2011. This is going to be the last version of the 55. Pretty much the last model year. So you can tell it's silver. It has a black roof, which is different. Clean interior. This guy put on a custom wheel. As you can see, it has a new gauge cluster. You get 2 separate gauges instead of that one big gauge in the middle in the previous examples we saw. Black interior. Nothing too fancy here. 51,000 miles, and they're asking $65,000. Do you see the price jump? This is what I'm talking about. These cars, especially the later model years, they go for a lot of money, especially these low mile cars. So $51,000, where are we at? 51,000 miles. I'd be around 45 for something like this, but I also, that's me personally, I wouldn't really want to pay more than 45. I just end up getting a higher mile example. But $65,000 is a ton of money for this car, especially it's been listed for over 2 months. Yeah, I'd be at 45 for something like this, and that is pretty much top dollar for one of these, in my opinion. It's still a 55, it's not a 63, and it's still this really old interior, so 65 grand. No thanks, especially with the way the market is going today. I don't know if you guys saw, quick side note, but I didn't even realize that Z06, C8 Z06 are going for market value now, MSRP. Like a month ago, they were going for 200 grand. Now I see them for 125 all day. I'm like, are these real? Like, are people like fabricating the ads? Because a lot of them are dealerships with no photos. It's just a stock photo, but the price 125, 130 for 1 mile, 2 mile cars. I see a lot with 5,000 miles. They're asking 120 grand. These are private sellers. So I'm like, wow, like is the car market really tanking like that? This guy really hasn't got the message. He's still in the price range of 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago. Yeah, so 45. That might even be stretching it, honestly. Here we have our final example. This one has custom wheels, black car. You know, the look is pretty good. These wheels, I'm not sure. Like, I like the fitment and the size. The pattern, I'm not so sure about. But the car looks in really good condition paint-wise. Let's see what we get to the interior. Very nice interior. This one is, it does look like a Dezino package car because it has the stitching on the seats. It doesn't have the Dezino floor mats though, but it does say Dezino in the back seats, in the back of the seats. So it also added a infotainment system. Looks like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto system. It doesn't have the Dezino floor mats. However, it does have some all-weather floor mats, so you never know if he has them somewhere else. Does this say if it's a Dezino package? Nothing. any of these people say anything about these cars? I never really looked. Nope. New brakes and rotors. Nope. Guys, you got to learn how to write an ad for a car. Talk about your experience. Talk about what have you fixed, what haven't you fixed, issues that you see, good parts about the car, bad parts about the car. Don't just tell me to call the dealership. Like, you're wasting both of our time by doing that. So this one, they're asking $56,000. It has 88,000 miles. So we're getting there, but again, for something like this, it is a Dezino package car. I'd be at I'd say around 46, 47 for this. No. It has higher miles. What am I talking about? I would be at 44, 43, 42 to 43,000 for something like this, because it has higher miles than the other example. So 43, 42, 43 for a Dezino package car. This is specifically for Dezino package cars. Those are going to be the ones that are most desirable. Moving on to Auto Trader, we have our first example, 2005, first model year for the compressor. 36.5 they're asking, and it has 136,000 miles. So mileage a little bit high, but it is a first edition of the compressor, so it is a an older car. It's going to have the older interior. Let's see if we can get to any interior photos here. And it also is going to have the least powerful engine, but that should factor into the price. 36.5 for a 136,000 mile car. Come on. Let's load, man. What's going on? So it's black interior. Not a Dez. So it doesn't say Dezino, but it has the piping. Okay, this is starting to piss me off. This. All right. Overall, you know, we're looking at the pictures. It looks pretty clean. It has TVs in the backrests. They're probably all outdated at this point. It has the stitching. This is a Grand Edition. So let's look it up, actually. 2005 G55 AMG Grand. See how many they made. So they were only made for the second half of 2005, according to the forums, and to commemorate the end of production. So they replaced the change holder with a GE number plaque. They have a Grand Edition badge on the sides and brush guards and blinker cages. Okay. So let's look at what we have here. We got the Grand Edition plaque instead of the change holder. Headliner looks like it's not in the best condition. Grand Edition says right here. All right. Well, unless it says compressor, I can't read that well. I don't know what it says. Might it say Grand Edition? Might say compressor? Not sure. Nope, it says compressor. Okay, so it's a Grand Edition. It's a rare car, but not really that desirable. 36.5 for 136,000 miles. I'm around 30 grand. 30 grand for this is good. Here we have a 2007. So it's still kind of a first edition car, but last example of it. Wow, this one has no pictures. All right. Well, this is an all right picture. We can see it has a brown interior, Dezino. Dezino package. Okay. Eurocharge tune, upgraded pulleys. Has the reduced supercharged pulley, upgraded air intake, upgraded exhaust. Has a 1,000-watt stereo, tinted windows, WeatherTech mats. 650 horsepower. That's a lot. So this car is highly upgraded, not highly, but it's pretty tuned. So you're not worried about the issue of power anymore because it is the least powerful G55. It is a Dezino package. Has a lot going for it. 42.5 though for 155,000 miles. No, thank you. It is a tuned car. No matter what people say, I don't trust tuned cars. I'm always gonna err on the side of caution with tuned cars, and therefore, you know, I'm gonna err on the side of caution with my wallet, and I won't pay over 35 for this. It has high miles. You know, 35 is a lot, honestly, for a car with this high miles, but it's a desirable spec. It is a Dezino package with the brown interior, which is kind of rare, and it is super tuned. So, I mean, while it works, it's going to work pretty well. So, yeah. You have to deal with the mechanical, the reliability aspect being reduced in the long term. However, it's going to be a great car if it works as it should when you get it. So moving on to our next example. This is a 2006 G55. You can see it has custom wheels. Silver car with an upgraded front fascia. If you're not familiar, the 2-bar grille was available on the 63. On the 55, it was a 3-bar grille, as you can see right here. So the 2-bar grille, as well as the headlights and the LED running lights on the bottom. These are not on the old style G55, but they are on the G63. Just a lot of weird things. The bumper, you can tell that it was made to fit. It doesn't really line up well. Like this lines up perfectly. See if we can find another picture of the front. It lines up perfectly like this, but this new body style that the new bumper, they had to cut it, I guess, to make it fit. So not the best fitment of body panels. The wheels are super ugly, not a fan. Where is this located? It looks like it's like Atlanta or something. This looks like Atlanta. Where is it at? I'm actually very curious. Come on, I'm tired of this. It's like they never want to say where the dealership is. 747. Goodfellas automatic auto group. I don't know where this is at. I thought it was in Georgia, but couldn't tell you. Burbank, California. I'm completely wrong. I guess this is Cali. Anyway, going back to the car. Silver car. I do like the silver. I think silver is one of the best colors for the G class. Especially looking like this, clean. Especially with the upgraded look. The wheels though, they gotta go. Not really any interior pictures. Wow. Maybe the interior doesn't look that great. Black interior though. It's 2006. I didn't want to show it, so I don't know if it's the Zeno or not. 52 almost. 51.8. They're asking 112,000 miles. No thanks. No thanks. I'm around 32 for this car. I don't care how clean it is or what you do to the front. It doesn't look that great in my opinion. So 30 grand. Not the car for me. Here we have a 2010 G55. So this is going to be the last iteration with the 500 horsepower black car. And it also has it has diamond stitching. I'm not sure what if the diamond stitching is standard. I don't believe it is. All service has been completed. Wheels and interior paint done by Platinum Motorsports. So I believe they definitely had something to do with this diamond stitching. Yeah, because these aren't standard seats. So yeah, the interior was redone. Looks pretty good. They might have went a little crazy with the diamond stitching, but it looks nice. It looks better than stock. Black car in pretty good condition with under 100,000 miles. They want 52,000 for this. See, this is a more reasonable price than this. Like you have a last model year compared to you have a last iteration compared to a first iteration with over 20,000 miles more, and they're asking the exact same price. So this one, I'd be willing to go up to 40 grand. The mileage is super low. It is a 2010 with a cool interior spec. They didn't really change the front that much at all, actually. It looks good. So yeah, 40 grand is what I'd be at for something like this. Yep. Cool. And our final Auto Trader ad, we have a 2011 last model year. They're asking $73,000. This one only has 22,000 miles. So one of the lowest mile cars we've seen. This is a Zeno interior, as you can see by the seats. It also has black trim. You can see the seats, they fold and roll up. See a Zeno leather. This also is in Zeno. Well, no, I thought that was matte, but it's not. It's just the way the light is. Harman Kardon sound. This one has the upgraded front fascia as well. You can see how the bumper, like I guess it's just one thing with upgraded front fascias. They're never going to meet up correctly. You can tell this kind of points down. Like the lines aren't lining up that well. But it is what it is. It's upgraded front fascia. It's gonna look a lot better. It also has the front grille removed. 73 grand though, not really for me. 22,000 miles, way too low for me. I want a car that I can actually drive without worrying about it. Plus, with 22,000 miles on a car this old, you know that a lot of things haven't been addressed. You know that you're gonna run into a lot of problems that have to do with old age stuff, like braking, falling apart, brittle materials in the engine bay that aren't used to being heat cycled, that kind of stuff. But for 22,000 miles, I'll make an offer, 55 grand. 55 grand, that's where I'm at. So moving on to Car Gurus. Our first example, it is a 2005 first generation, 40 grand they're asking, 101,000 miles. So this one is pretty clean for it being, it looks first model year, it looks very stock. They didn't really change much, which is good. Hopefully that means that everything was kept up to standard. Thing looks good. You can see the basketball hoop cup holder, which is hilarious. Yeah, I don't know if the Dezino badge was added to Dezino trim cars or if it's added in a later model year for all cars, but we're gonna just assume this is not a Dezino car unless it says so in the description. Then, oh, it says Dezino. It is a Dezino car. See, guys, you gotta. The Dezino mats are in there. It's a Dezino package car, so it's gonna have a little bit of a more desirability. So Dezino package car. Does it say anything about it? No. All right. 39.9 for a Dezino package first model year car with 100,000 miles. Because it's Dezino, I think I'll be willing to go up to 35. And because it's clean, so 35 grand for this. Clean example, I'm not gonna lie, and it is in that silver that I like. Moving on, we got a black car, 2009. So it's gonna be the final model package, final model configuration in terms of power. 500 horsepower. We got a black car. We got some issues here off the bat. We got stuff not lining up. Something happened here. This one does have the Dezino stamped in there. Nothing crazy so far. Yeah, just standard stuff. They're not showing the mats. So we have a Dezino car for now, what we'll call a Dezino car, 44.9. It has 112,000 miles, but it's a fully powered car, 500 horsepower. I'd be around 39, 40 for this car. 39, I'd say. Just it has some cosmetic issues that I need to get addressed, and the mileage is getting up there. So 39, 40, not too far off. Here we have a 2011 last model year. $52,000 are asking, 88,000 miles. As you can see, it has the brown Dezino interior. I believe this is the mocha spec that they were talking, or not, yeah, the black mocha Dezino package. As you can see, the Dezino mats. Yeah, this one is super spec'd in terms of what I like. Last model year Dezino package with the brown seats. Yeah, I like this car a lot. But for 52, it has 88,000 miles. I think I'd be around 43, 42, 43 for this car. It is a Dezino last model year, so that's pretty much where I'm at. It has 88,000 miles. Not the lowest mile car, but 42, 43 would be a great price for something like this. Moving on, we have a 2008. So this is going to be the perfect model year, in my opinion, because you're going to get not only the towing package, but you're also going to get the middle of the line power car, which is not too far off from the top. 59,000 miles, low mile car. This one is black. It doesn't appear to have the Dezino, but I don't know at this point. Simply because it is only, I've only seen the 2011 cars, 2009 plus with the Dezino on the seats. Yeah, we'll say it's a Dezino. Because this wood does look, yeah, I mean, it is a Dezino wood, obviously, because all the cars came with Dezino wood. But for this example, 59,000, Miles, they're asking 52. I'd be around the 40,000, 41 for this. Similar price to the 2011 because it has less miles. But there's also a 2008, which I believe is one of the best model years to get. So that's why I would pay 42 for it. Yep. Moving on to our last ad, we have a 2010, which has been updated to the Pan America grille, which is the newest style of Mercedes grille, as well as updating the lights. You can tell this fitment is a little bit better than other examples we were looking at. And this actually is perpendicular to where it's supposed to be. As you can see, what stands out the most is this new grille. It really updates the look of the car. This guy updated the grille, the lights, everything to make it look like a brand new G63, which it does actually. And this one is also a Dezino interior, 2010 Dezino Starlight interior as well, which is pretty cool. Not really something that you pay extra for, but pretty nice to have. 59.9 they're asking. It has 104,000 miles. I think that's way too high. It is a 2010 with a Dezino package, and it has all the cosmetic upgrades that you want. However, 104,000 miles is pretty high for 59. I'd say with 104,000 miles, I'd be at around 46, 45. Yeah, around 45. I don't want to pay 46. I'm at 45 simply because it has some good upgrades. It's a good spec, and it has, yeah, the upgrades as I mentioned, which are pretty expensive and time consuming if you try to do it yourself. And this car will stand for a long time as, you know, a car that you can drive around every day. People are going to think it's modern. It's not really going to like be outdated. It's already outdated. They made it look nice. That's it. So that pretty much wraps it up for the G55 AMG. Thank you guys for watching. If you stayed this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. If you guys have any cars you want me to review, someone left a comment the other day. They want me to do the E46 M3, which is funny because I actually had that on my list to do next week. So the E46 M3 is coming next week. I'm going to get some more actual pre-recorded, edited videos out for y'all. I know it's been a while since I uploaded one, but they're coming. They're in the pipeline. But yeah, as I mentioned before, my ideal one would be a 2008 simply because of price, and you can get it with the towing package and with the new gauge cluster. Try to find one with the Dezino package. One of those two packages is going to be more desirable. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. If you have any comments, questions, anything you want to add to the discussion, leave it in the comments below. I will be happy to read them and respond to you guys. But that about wraps it up for today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. If I don't see you tomorrow, which I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be doing, I'm deciding on whether to do between the Trackhawk or the V8 Raptor, the old V8 Raptor. I think I'll do the old V8 Raptor. The old V8 Raptor tomorrow. Noon o'clock. Yeah, noon I will be streaming the old V8 Raptor. So stay tuned for that. I will see you guys tomorrow. If not, have a great rest of your weekend if you don't tune in tomorrow, which you should. But other than that, y'all have a great rest of your day. Take it easy and be safe.